what's up, everybody? What's going on? Man, I'm so excited about tonight's show. It's been a minute. We took a little break last week. We had somebody called us old, but
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying we got elderly gentlemen on the show that wasn't feeling well. So I mean,
James, you like jazz?
Uh-huh.
You like Miles Davis?
Yes.
You want a Miles Davis impression?
Listen, I just spoke truth. That's all.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, honestly, okay, it really was the truth. It was the truth.
Folks had old people issues.
Anyway, what's going on, everybody? So glad to have you with us once again. We want you to hit like. We want you to hit share. We want you to share this out with everybody. We're talking about domestic violence tonight, especially in the Black community. And if you have any experience with in domestic violence as being a perpetrator or someone that receives it, please let somebody know tonight. We're going to be giving some great information. And please like and share the video that you're watching, guys. Also, if you're on YouTube, we want you to hit that subscription button. Kapow! We want you to also hit that bell, the notification bell. Yeah, kapow! Hit that notification bell. Swipe that bad boy. Wow! And make sure that you be notified when we are live on the air. What, man? I got energy tonight, man.
What's going on with Steve?
I got energy, man.
You sure do.
Yeah, sometimes you just need to step away from a situation. You know what I mean?
Now he philosophizing.
Right.
Okay, Steve.
He's philosophizing.
I'm philosophizing. Falafel. All right, so just a quick update, man. How's everybody doing, man? So good to see you guys. I ain't seen you guys in almost a week. I talked to you guys, but Mr. Lovejoy, what's been going on, man? What have you been doing lately?
Well, I called you and you never returned my phone call. So let me just start right there. Let me be petty right quick.
Okay.
Let's just start there. Because I still hadn't got a phone call back from you. And I thought we was gonna be checking on each other, outside the show.
Yeah.
But it didn't happen in my now he may have talked to y'all, but he hadn't called me back yet. I'm still waiting on the phone call.
Well, I mean,
look at this.
You be
okay. See, that's
I'm calling you now.
Yeah, I know. Man, he on something different tonight, y'all. Nonetheless, my week was absolutely amazing, man. I got some stuff.
Yes.
Oh hell.
Absolutely amazing. Okay.
Yeah. I think Mario still got dial up, so he may be going in and out. But yeah, man, my week was good, man.
Any interesting new developments happened for you this weekend?
Yeah, see, there you go.
I'm just asking. I'm concerned.
Concerned? No need to be concerned. It's man. Life
it's okay.
Life is absolutely amazing for me.
Really?
Absolutely amazing.
Okay. So did you do any golfing this weekend, sir?
Oh boy.
Any golfing?
I hit 300 balls.
Okay.
That's what I did.
At a new course or
Jesus. Okay. Hey, let's go ahead and switch.
Let's switch. Okay.
James, you're not doing that to me tonight, man.
All right. So James, how was your week, sir?
Thank you, Steve.
My week was good, man. That's got some work done. Had a shoot this weekend, knocked that out.
I saw you in
it's the Jesse James.
Yeah, I saw that, man. Saw you making all that money at that wedding.
You see the way you looked over his shoulder, right? So he wouldn't get hit. That's what that
was. But yeah, it was fun, man. It was. We had a fun weekend. It was pretty good. This week went by kind of fast, but the weekend, man, was fun. We had a good time.
Good. All right, Mr. Mario.
How do?
Out down his back deck, chilling.
I'm actually barbecuing the last of the meat.
What kind of meat? What kind of meat you barbecue?
Chicken wings on right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
chicken wing. What you got to do to the chicken wing?
I'm not falling in that trap.
Yeah, you smart, man.
James is on one tonight, ain't he?
Okay, I'm just no.
He is on one.
So
I'm simply making sure my brothers are straight. That's all.
we good, bro. I mean,
Okay.
I was chilling so hard. Steve had to call me because I was about to fire up my cigar, and I was having me a nice little drink over here, and so I'll wait till the show is over to fire up my cigar, maybe.
Okay.
But if you see me go off air, I'm going over there to
Check.
make
Say
sure-
what now?
to make sure my chicken is okay.
Oh, okay.
I'm not gonna say it. I'm not. You will not bake me into that one, James Fred.
Oh man, okay. I miss y'all, man. I miss y'all.
Steve,
mean-
how about yourself, sir? How was your weekend?
I was
Hey
your
man,
week,
let me show y'all something. This is beautiful.
Yeah, he drunk, y'all. He drunk already.
I'm not.
Does this nigga got a grown man got a what is that?
He drunk. He drunk.
I'm not. I'm not.
Okay.
I promise.
And you
I'm
drink
not.
and you drinking liquor out of that too, ain't you?
Huh?
You
Huh?
drinking liquor out of that?
Huh?
Y'all, we got a grown man on here drinking Hennessy out of sippy cup. This don't make no flipping sense.
My feet. I'm on the deck, bro. I pressure washed my deck today. Pressure washed the concrete part of the patio. I'm enjoying. It's just beautiful outside.
It is.
I know we're gonna get to Steve. I know we're about to get to Steve.
No,
But
we're
my
not.
only question is, why does he even have that in his house?
See, now these are the questions that need to be answered.
Why does he even have that particular?
So that means there's you don't have any small children. So you actually went someplace and bought a sippy cup to put your liquor in.
I think I got this at a children's birthday party, and it was
Well,
neighbors.
okay. So
It
why
had
are you at a
candy
children? Why are you at a children's birthday? Okay. Okay.
I have great nieces and nephews.
Okay.
You got what?
Great
Great?
nieces and great nephews. Yes, that means my nieces and nephews have children.
Right. So
And
that
those are-
oh boy, you old boy.
Hey, Steve.
How was your weekend, Steve?
Yeah. My weekend was good, man. I did absolutely pretty much nothing yesterday. My wife decided to straighten up her office, and so we was moving stuff around. And I made a mistake today, guys. A 49-year-old man decided to go play basketball with his 10-year-old son.
Everything.
Them knees ain't waiting
And I'm
on
paying
me,
for
my
it right
son.
now.
Everything hurt.
Everything.
I'm paying dearly. I mean, I don't know how I hurt my pinky. I don't understand how that hurt. I don't get
It was this motion
I don't
right
get
here.
it.
It was that
You know what
motion
I'm
with the
saying?
Steve.
Like, what
Steve.
the
Steve, we dealt with the whole pinky issue with Lovejoy, okay?
Oh,
You
Lord.
hurt your hand.
Okay, I hurt my hand.
Okay.
Thank you,
men
Kevin
don't have
Samuels, for
pinkies,
that.
do they?
Jesus Christ.
Thank you, Kevin. I appreciate that. So anyway,
Man, little pinky.
all right, guys, we're into the show now, man. I'm not gonna deal with the
No,
COVID
no,
no
no.
more.
Hold up. You ain't just gonna skate past that. I want you to go live when you wake up in the morning. Time you open your eyes. I want you to go live, man.
I ain't gonna do it.
I want you to describe how you feel all the time you wake up in the morning.
I feel bad
49 years
now.
old.
I feel bad now. You know what I'm saying?
So can you imagine what's gonna happen when you wake up in the morning?
No,
Oh,
I
you
don't
got to
want-
do a bunch of walking on your job too? Jesus Christ.
Oh, you work tomorrow?
no, I'm off tomorrow.
Oh, you are off. Okay, yeah, you need
Thank you,
it. That's
Jesus.
it.
Thank you, Jesus.
Gentlemen, you guys excuse me. I need to check the file on the grill.
You need to do what?
You need to do what?
File on the
The
grill.
fire?
The file.
The
Okay,
foul.
well.
Oh, okay.
Oh, the
WL,
foul.
I did. FOWL.
Oh, you're checking foul.
Right.
Yes,
He's
I'm
checking the foul.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, while you do
Does he
that, I'm
mean
gonna,
chicken?
yeah, he means chicken.
Okay.
Yeah.
While he doing that, I'm going to introduce our guests, guys. As you know, we are talking about domestic violence, and I'm gonna bring both of them on right now, and we're gonna let each one give them a quick introduction of who they are. And we got Mr. Terry Ware, who's an author, has a publishing business that he runs, guys. And he's going to tell us his domestic violence story. And then we have Mrs. Zenobia Nickerson that's going to be coming on, and she's going to tell us her domestic violence experience, and just give us some clarity on what it is, how to get help for it, and if you're in it now, what to look for if you don't see the signs of it. Both of them come by way of Miss Cheryl Featherstone, and we appreciate her so much with the No More Victims group. And we're going to have her on. I think we're going to have to get her on, guys, in October, I believe. And so I want everybody to put your hands together, which if you're watching, if you're at home, put your hands together for Mr. Terry Ware and Miss Zenobia Nickerson. Y'all give it up for them coming on tonight. Thank you
Thank you for having me.
Hey.
Hey, before we get started, though, Terry,
Bruh,
are you serious?
are you serious, Doc?
It was I don't have the sound effects.
Jesus.
Wow.
Okay. Hey, Terry, can you tell the people where you're from?
Wait.
See, Lovejoy, you beat me to it. That's what I was gonna get to.
I'm down in Pike Road, Alabama.
Pike Road, huh?
So what I want y'all to do, I need everybody that's watching right now to Google Pike Road, Alabama.
Road, Alabama?
Can you Google Pike Road?
Bush Hill?
That's what we're going.
It's in Montgomery County.
Oh, okay. Pike Road.
It's a little small town.
Montgomery County.
Man, it's not so small. They got their first public, so there you go. Boom.
There you go.
Pike
There you
Road
go.
in the house.
That means there's a modicum of money in Pike Road, Alabama. If they got a Publix.
Yeah, it's a little bit of money. Yeah.
Awesome. We want to say hello to Ms. Zenobia. How you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well. Thank you all for having me.
I went to school with Zenobia.
Yeah.
Zenobia, too bad you guys did not go to Inslee High School or graduate from Inslee High School.
Okay, Steve.
Don't nobody care about that for real though.
Steve. Him and that little sippy cup. Go ahead and just. Okay. You lost all your cool points for me, Mario. When you held that cup up to the screen, you lost your cool points for me.
Hey man, it is what it is. You got to be secure in your manhood to do this.
They ain't got nothing to do with manhood.
I ain't got nothing to do with no manhood right now. Nothing at all.
What's up, Mr. Frederick? We got Mr. Frederick from Ghana, man. What's going on, man? We worldwide tonight.
Wow, what's about 1 o'clock there in Ghana right now?
Jesus.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into this, man. We're gonna talk about domestic violence, guys, tonight. I think it's an important issue. We have not touched upon it at all in our many shows that we've had. I want to go ahead and start with Miss Zenobia, ladies first, if you don't mind, Mr. Terry.
Ladies first.
Definitely.
So, Miss Zenobia, tell us who you are, what you do. We know you're a motivational speaker. We know that you help many people as you can. Tell us really what you're all about, and then tell us a little bit about your story of domestic violence. And then I really want to go to Terry after that, and then I want to talk to James about his experience and what kicked this all off. So, Mr. Zenobia, go forward. Tell us who you are, what you're doing, and give us your story.
I'm Zenobia Banks Nickerson. I am a wife of 14 years. Together, we have a blended family of 9 children and 5 beautiful grands.
Whoa.
Hold up.
What? You can't just go past. How many children did you say?
We have a blended family of 9 children.
Okay.
Not a blended family.
I got you. Okay.
Yeah. I only birthed 4.
Okay.
So I have a 29-year-old son. He'll be 30 in October. I have a 26-year-old daughter, a 21-year-old son, and a 13-year-old daughter.
Okay.
So, and we have 5 beautiful grandchildren who are the love of my life.
By the way, I saw your grandson graduate from kindergarten.
Champ, K,
yeah.
pre-K, K4, yes, Champ did, yes. And I am employed with the Social Security Administration, and I've been with them, will be 25 years in September. And I just like encouraging people, women, young girls, whoever I come in contact with, because I believe that, you know, we all have something that we can share with everyone based off of our life experiences. I am an encourager. I am a woman of God. I'm an intercessor. I am a minister in training. So that has been taking up a lot of my time. And due to COVID, I did not have a women's conference last year. My first women's conference was in 2019. It was a great success, great turnout, very powerful. And so I'm grateful that I'm looking forward to having another one this year. But a little about how my story started. The first relationship I was in that was abusive was at the age of 16. I was in high school, and I met this guy while I was working at Rally's, and it didn't start out that way. Of course, he was a great guy, great gentleman. He wooed me and gave me anything I wanted. And I should have taken my grandmother's advice when she said that a man who buys you things thinks that he owns you. So don't take anything from a man that's not your husband because he think he owns you. And so that became true. It all started randomly, just little pushes and shoves. He was just being controlling, wanted to monopolize all of my time, didn't want me to spend time with anybody else or anything like that. But the first time that it, you know, really hit me that I was really, really in a domestic violence situation, we were headed to the Galleria, and we were getting ready to pass the 6th Avenue South exit, and he asked me a question. I can't remember exactly what it was, but at that moment, he took my head and slammed it into the window. And that's when I jumped out the car and ran off the interstate down to Leonard's on 6th Avenue. And so that's when I really realized that, hey, this is not the way things are supposed to be. But when you are broken, when you don't know who you are, my father never affirmed me. My father never told me he loved me until I was 36 years old and he was on his deathbed. So I just believe that I settled and I took it because I didn't know my worth. I loved him and I forgave him. And I felt like me loving him would change him. But that was so not the case. I stayed in that relationship until I was about 22. And I did marry him. I married him at the age of 19. And straight out of high school, 19, I got married and had my first son, who will be 30 in October. And I stayed in that relationship, like I said, till I was about 22. And then I got out of that relationship and went right into another one. It wasn't abusive in the beginning, but he started to monopolize my time. Again, would not allow me to, have many friends or anything. And just very accusatory. It was always, you're cheating. You're too beautiful for me. You don't love me, and it just one thing led to another. And because the truth of the matter is, and I had to realize this as time went on, that what you don't heal from, you go back to. And so that was my story, because I had not healed. Nobody sat down and talked to me. My parents didn't even really know that I was, in a domestic violence relationship. And so I just went right back into one. And again, I'm a lover by nature. I'm a nurturer. I care for people. And like I said, again, here I am thinking that I can love this person to change. But my love wasn't enough, because what you have to know and understand is, until a person loves themselves, they'll never be able to receive the love from another person. So it went on and on and on. I stayed in that relationship for 8 years.
Mm,
Yeah,
mm,
8 years. And in that relationship and coming out of that relationship birthed my women's ministry. And this was back in 1999. I was 4 months pregnant and he got sentenced to 25 years in prison, well, life in prison, because he was a habitual offender.
mm.
And here I am still praying for him because I love him. I'm pregnant. I know I don't need to be with him. I know I need to be away from him. But toxicity, we were so toxic for each other and we were just dysfunctional, and dysfunction breeds dysfunction. And so I went to a conference one night, and at that women's conference, the lady was talking and she said, God has already given you a way of escape. And she said it another time, and then the last time she said it, it just felt like it was me, her, and Holy Spirit in the room. And she looked dead at me and she said, God has already given you a way of escape. Take it. And that began my process of walking out of a relationship, catch this, with a guy who was in prison.
Mm.
Hear me now. That became my exit from a person who was in prison. I'm in the free world. He's in prison. I'm just as locked up as he was in the free world.
Mm.
But at that moment, I said, God, what does that look like? And so God took me on a journey, and I was still accepting phone calls. He was sending letters. I was still reading the letters. And the Holy Spirit spoke to me and said, stop reading the letters and stop taking the phone calls. And that's how I started the process of healing, and therefore birthed the ministry, Way of Escape Women's Ministry. Because one thing I know for sure, that no matter where we find ourselves, God will always give us a way of escape. And so that's just the quick version of my story. And so that's what I do now, help women to know and understand their worth and their value, and that loving a person is not enough. They have to love themselves. And they too have to know their worth, because 9 times out of 10, they're abusing you because they didn't get what they needed in their childhood. And so they don't know how to love. And so they feel that they have to be in control of a situation. So again, that's just a little snippet of my story.
That I'm
wow.
blown away. You said a couple of things that I wanted to touch on. One was the affirmation and the father's role in the life of a child, a father's role in a life, especially a daughter.
Yes.
Now that I have one, I find myself thinking totally different. And I know, Lovejoy, you have 2 of them, and well, all of us have daughters, really. But I want to touch upon that. And Lovejoy, I want you to say something towards that, because as I grew up as a young man, I had girlfriends that had father issues, and if you were a predator, those were the ones you wanted to get, because it's easy to manipulate, easy to get them to do anything. Because I mean, I had a girlfriend one time tell me that she had father issues, and I'm like, what? You know what I mean? Yeah. So you're putting yourself out there, letting predators know that, man, you are easy target. But Lovejoy, can you say something towards that effect about being that role in a child's life, especially towards women and young girls?
It is so important that they hear the sound of, watch this, healthy love from a man.
Yes, so true.
The most important thing is, we see this in scripture in Luke chapter 4, where Jesus himself had to be affirmed by his father.
Yes.
That's my boy. I'm so pleased with him. It's important that the voice of the father is in a child's life.
Yes.
Because when it's time to gauge who I give my love to, the response of that love is going to be based off what they've heard or the lack thereof.
Oh, right.
Yes.
So we have to make sure that in my house, is daddy all the way. I speak into my girls' life, so they will understand. Now, this is the measure.
Yes.
Don't accept anything less than
Come
that.
on, sir.
So
yes.
I speak on my daughters. And then too, I think it's important, guys, not only for our daughters, but it's so important that we speak to the males
Mhm.
Yes.
So they would know how to love the woman properly in a home. So not only is it our daughters, and that's important, because I remember, Steve, and it's funny that you say that, you can smell or sense the women who was without a father in the home.
Mhm.
It's like we prey on them. I remember I was in college. You can always tell the ones whose father was there because they're not going to put up with certain things, versus the ones who was looking for love in all the wrong places.
Right. I also, what I thought about was the insecurity of a man, because oftentimes, and you know, what's the dude's name that we questioned and saying, was it Kevin Samuels? Is that
Kevin
his name?
Samuels.
Yes.
So we, you know, we have we have men out here that use bravado to try to cover up their insecurities, and and maybe their mother wasn't involved, or maybe they were abused by a female. And then we have these males out here who've not even seen a healthy relationship, because we got so many unhealthy relationships in my life. And I can only relate back to me, is that it was only me and my mother. And so my mother had to put men in my life to show me how to be a man towards a woman. You know what I'm saying? Because I could have grew up either two kind of ways, right? I could have been up swishy because I'm around women all the time, or I could have grew up having, no, I'm being honest, because this is what happens when you grow up with just a mother in the house sometimes.
Yes.
Is that you either grow up swishy or you grew up being overly bravadic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're covering up for something that's missing.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're only dealing, and then when it's a single mother, you're only seeing the type of men that she's bringing to the house, right? Because she's also dealing with her issues. So, but I want to do a couple. Let me read a couple of 9 types of abuses for those who are watching, and you can see where you are if you're in this. So there's physical abuse, there's sexual violence,
yes,
there's emotional violence, there's psychological violence. There's spiritual violence. Wow, and that blew me away. Cultural violence. There's verbal abuse, financial abuse, and neglect. And so these are the type of abuses that happen. Now, we always, when we think of domestic violence, we only think about the physical aspect of it. Exactly. We don't deal with the other mental, emotional, psychological, spiritual, and the cultural things that happen in the home, and neglect, which is wow. Because you're telling yourself you're marrying this person, or you're in a relationship when you're supposed to be helping each other, when you're neglecting the other person, be manipulative. I want to deal now with Mr. Doctor. I want to call him Doctor Author Terry Ware. Tell us who you are, man, and give us your experience. Tell us, and then tell us your experience, and then we'll deal into the things that you really do and what's making you money and how we can help the community out. Okay, so tell us who you are, what you do, and then tell us what your experience was.
Okay. Like I said, I'm an author of 6 books.
Hold on, y'all. Hold on.
6. Wow.
That's what I'm talking about. We got a brother with 6 books under his belt.
Awesome.
Come on, y'all got to give it up for the brother. Come
on.
Awesome.
See that dude, Terry.
And Terry, but we want to discuss those 6 books. We want to discuss those after you finish your story. Okay, so go ahead, bro.
Okay. Well, I'm actually an aspiring actor right now. I'm pursuing acting.
Need to holler at you.
Yes, sir. But I also have a publishing company as well. And right now, we're helping people to self-publish, so they keep 100% of the royalties.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Okay.
So the name of the company is Boss Publishing. Boss stands for Building Opportunities, Stirring Success. All about helping people get to that next level, helping the dreams come true. Just all about helping. So my story, I grew up in an abusive home, where I watched my dad beat my mom quite often. I didn't realize how it affected me, because when I was younger, I would always say, I promised myself I would never be that man. But I ended up finding myself in a situation where my abuse was, at first it was mental. I felt I was controlling. Felt like I really didn't, like he said, where men don't know how to love. I didn't know how to love a woman. I felt like control was the way for me to show them that I loved them. So I found myself in a situation where I got charged with domestic violence, and I got arrested. So while I was sitting in that cell, man, I just began to talk to God, and that was really not where I wanted to be. So I was blessed. I was facing at least a year in prison, even though it was my first offense. I was facing a felony charge. The blessed thing was the young lady she wanted to drop the charges, but in the state of Alabama, they don't allow them to drop the charges.
Right.
So the blessed thing about it was that the judge told me he could sentence me to take an anger management course. And he said if I finished that course, if I wasn't late, if I did what I had to do, then they wouldn't put it on my record, which was a blessing. So I made sure that I attended every class on time. I was there before anybody. So I didn't get that felony on my record.
Wow.
But my message now, man, is, it took me a while to really, really see me, even after going through that anger management class in that course, I still had issues. I still had issues to deal with. And it wasn't until I really, really began to build my relationship with God that he showed me who I was, and he began to change me. So my message now, what I like to spread, man, is, I know they always say, once an abuser, always an abuser. But I'm a living witness that that's not true. My father, he is no longer an abuser. So I'm a living witness that that's not true, man. With the help of God, you can change. Whether it's a female or a male that's actually doing the abuse, you definitely can change, but you have to really open yourself up to Christ to see who you are so he can change you.
Wow.
Wow.
Can I just speak?
Let me hold on, Lovejoy. One second. Listen, dude, I gotta give you like mad props for even coming on the show
Word.
and saying that.
Word.
That's what I was exactly about. I was just
Like
about to say something.
to even admit, hey, I used to do this and now I don't. Dude,
Right.
big ups for real.
Yeah, and
For
to be honest and forthcoming about that.
Yes.
That's that, man. I was gonna say the same thing, James. That's big, dude. For you to come on and be open and honest about it, tell your story. That's big, because most times
Yes.
those that in those kind of relationships, they deny it.
Right.
And the cycle repeats itself. Where
Yes.
you abuse a person, then you go back and say, "I'm so sorry, I won't ever do it again," and then it
Right.
starts over.
Yeah.
The mere fact that you're on the show talking about it and being honest and forthcoming says a lot about who you are as a man and as a man of God. So that's commendable, Terry.
Thank you.
Well, they said what I wanted to say, but Terry, what and I don't want you to relive your past, man. And I give you mad props because of that. You said that because you weren't taught how to love a woman. Can you can you expound upon that? Can you give what I just want you to kind of expound on that just a little bit if you can, because some men think they got, man, I got this, I can treat any woman right. What I'm saying? I got the juice, whatever they say.
Right.
Can you expound upon what you thought was lacking at that time because you weren't taught? Go ahead. I don't want to lead you too much. I just want to leave it open, but you know what I mean?
Right. Well, coming up, seeing what I seen. Now, my mom, she oftentimes would talk to me about how to treat a woman. But what you see is what you acclimate to. So all I saw was like, my dad, how he treated my mom. So even though my mom, what things that she would tell me, it didn't come till later of how to put it all in perspective, or actually how to treat a woman. Because what you see is what you end up doing. So I only did what I saw, the control, and I figured that's the way you do it, because that's what I seen. And my mom stayed there; she didn't leave. So it was like, okay, so I guess this is the way it's supposed to go.
Wow.
And it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't until I began to build my relationship with God and really, really not just talk, but listen to Him, and to to really be honest. Like, yeah, Lord, that's me. But
Well, I think that speaks to it, though, man. If you think about it, and this is where it's important for, I think, the women to understand something, that what your children see. Listen, as boys, if it was good enough for mama,
right,
then any other woman that I deal with should be able to take the same thing.
right.
Should be, you know what I'm saying? That's mama. And if mama was dealing with it, then hey, Susie and Bonquisha and LaQuetta, you know, they should. I'm sorry, y'all, for the names. That's all. That's the only thing that came to my head right there. But
Right.
that's, you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And this is one thing I've told women: like, you got to understand what your kids are seeing.
That's correct.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying. So it's because I'm sorry, as boys, everything I saw, I was fortunate enough to grow up with two loving parents, and that's what I saw. So I knew, you know, what it was. My father was adamant and strict about how he treated my mother and how he loved my mother. So that's what I saw. So, but I also had friends that grew up that didn't have that, and their mentality was a lot different than mine. You know what I'm saying? Their mentality was whatever. Some had mothers who had men running in and out of the house.
So can I ask Zenobia a question?
Sure.
From a woman's perspective, and I heard you say a couple of things about yourself. You're very loving. You're nurturing. When you were in those situations, do you think, from your perspective, because of the way you were, did you think that you could change the man, although he had issues, probably growing up issues? Did you think you could change that? What was your reason for staying in the situation?
That was gonna be my question, Lovejoy.
I did. Crazy enough, I did. I thought that me loving him, me being whoever it was that I thought he needed me to be, would be enough to make him change and do things differently. And me extending forgiveness to him. And even though he did these things to me, forgiving him and continuing to love him, to help him to see that, you know, I'm not with you because of what you have. You can lose it all today. I just love you because he was a good person from the start. You know what I'm saying? But I thought my love was enough to, you know, at least make him think about changing. But I want to go back to something that, is it James? Yeah, that James said. And I think, I don't know, I think Terry may have spoken on it as well. It's about our children. My two older kids were some of the angriest children you would ever want to meet, especially my 29-year-old son. And here's the truth of the matter. He's still dealing with some of that stuff today. He spoke at it started to break, and he really started to tap into it at my conference because I allow him to speak, because Holy Spirit told me to allow him to speak so he can start to heal and overcome that, because he's so angry still to this day. But he's one of those people, because men teach them, get up. You fail, yeah, but get up, dust yourself off, and you suck it up. No crying.
Right.
And so he did that, but he was so angry because he felt, as my son, he should have been able to protect me. That was too much responsibility for a kid. And so oftentimes I speak to women and I tell women, when we are in these situations, it's not only us, it's our children. Our children experience, and it has an effect on them as well. So we can't think about ourselves and think that we're good enough and we are enough to help to make somebody change. We got to make the decision to depart that situation so we can be better, not only for ourselves, but be better for our children, because they deserve that. Now, my son has never put his hand on a woman. He's never done that. because he vowed that he would never do that because of what he saw me go through.
Right.
But because he has not dealt with his issues, it comes out in other ways when he deals with women.
Right.
He too is a nurturer, because that's I've always loved on my kids. And so it comes out in other ways with him with women, where he'll kind of open up a little bit, then he'll shut down, or what have you. And so it doesn't just affect us, it affects our children, because when that man was hitting me and kicked me down and stepped on my face, and he had on a Timberland boot and I had a Timberland boot print in my face, my son wanted to fight him.
Right. Right.
But he was a child, and this was a big burly man. What was he gonna do? A little kid, what was he gonna do against an adult? So we have to be mindful of the situations that we stay in, because as I said before, dysfunction breeds dysfunction. And so that the kids think, well, it's okay. Like James said, it's okay. My mama stayed, and if she put up with it, then she'll forgive me and she'll put up with it. And I have to tell my son all the time, everybody's not like your mother. Everybody's not forgiving as your mother. You have to make a conscious decision to treat a woman with respect. The same respect you wanted your mother treated with, that's how you should treat these women. And so, Terry, I wanted to ask you myself, did you find yourself in that situation where you were angry at watching your mother go through that abuse?
Oh yes, every time when I tried to help her out, I mean, I was beat too. So you know that played a lot of it as well.
So you was punishing for trying to protect.
Wow. Yes, sir.
So that's a conflict mentally there.
Exactly.
There's a conflict because that's dad. But in your heart, you know that something is wrong and this is not supposed to be happening. Then you get involved, then you get punished for that. There's a lot of conflict.
It's a lot of conflict.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was gonna I'm gonna let James tell us his story of what this all sparked about. Before that, I want to give this one couple facts. Is 1 in 3 women and 1 in 10 men will experience domestic violence in their lifetime. So men do. Let's not get it twisted. There's some women out there that batter men also. You know, domestic violence happens on both ends.
Y'all look, I tell people all the time, I'm as transparent as a piece of saran wrap. I became the abuser.
Why?
Because what you don't heal from,
You
become.
Yeah.
Okay, now real quick, Zenobia, you got to give us
Right.
You threw that out there. I was like, whoa, I'm going to go with this one.
You got to give us this story. You know, we heard the first story. Now you got to give us the second one. When you became from the abusee to the abuser, tell us this story.
It was a couple. Just feeling like I'm not gonna let anybody else treat me this way. So mentally, emotionally, vindictive, conniving, trifling. I ain't always been saved. So, you know, and so I did some things too. I set grass on fire, bust windows out cars, and fought them too. So, come on back up.
Grass on fire?
Oh.
Wait a minute.
Woman of God.
You set the grass on fire.
Hey, look,
The whole yard.
Ooh.
Look.
I ain't heard that one before.
I heard I busted windows out your car, but no.
Yeah, but I ain't heard that grass. How do you set grass on fire?
Houses, set grass on fire.
She went left eye on them.
Left eye.
Yeah, I did. I did. And even in my relationship, in my marriage, it's no secret, but my husband had an affair, and I was so angry because of the betrayal. You know what I'm saying? And so, and I have it in black and white, yet you're still saying it's nothing. So before I knew it, I had to leap across my child and got him. But
no big leaping cross.
I would say then though, but hey, I'm not perfect. And I believe, you know, we see God exposes things because He wants to
Mhm.
heal them, to let us know there's still some residue. Because when me and my husband were in heated fellowship one time arguing, he grabbed me to turn me around to speak to me, and I reared back at him. And I'm like, whoa, what is that? And so it was still some stuff there, because I believe that healing is a process, and it's just like peeling an onion. It's layers to healing, and we don't all, it doesn't all happen at one time. It's a process that we have to go through. But I did, and it was just I wasn't. It was abuse is abuse, no matter how many times you do it. But I became that thing, because I'm like, okay, it happened to me, I'm gonna do it to somebody else, because the truth of the matter is, hurt people.
Correct.
Right.
And so I was emotionally abused, sexually, physically, mentally, verbally abused, all of that. And I had a 2-parent. I was raised in a 2-parent household. I had my dad up until he passed. And he and my mom was living in the same household. But just because 2 people are in the home together, that doesn't mean that things are perfect. That doesn't mean that our life will be perfect. That doesn't mean that we won't see things. That doesn't mean that we won't experience things. It's how you choose to deal with those situations. But I became that person. Sadly, I became that person.
So
Excellent.
I want to speak to men right now, okay,
Well,
and
hold on,
understand
Okay. Go ahead.
the situations you put yourself in, because you gotta be pissed off to set somebody's grass on fire, like for real, like to be that mad
Right.
to where this man just got through cutting the grass and fertilizing his grass and all that good stuff. I mean, you gotta be pissed off to set grass on fire. And men, let me tell you something. I see, this is what gets me, is that men that are constantly in these situations and constantly, man, that's dangerous.
Mhm.
Because women do get to the point, person that is being abused does, like you say, get to where I'm not taking this no more.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna let another person do this. And so while you run around here thinking you big Johnny Black, messing with folk, you finna get your grass set on fire and your house burnt down.
Right.
And you know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's the kind of stuff that I've always thought about. I've said it time and time again. I love women, but I do not trust them at all when it comes to stuff like that. Let me tell you something.
Okay.
I think men you got to be some type of crazy to abuse a woman and then lay down next to her.
Mm.
I think you got to be some kind of, you got to have some balls for that.
Mm.
You really do. I ain't that brave.
Hey, Mr. Bobbitt was clear story of that when he
Thank
got his.
Listen.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I flew around and screamed at my ex-wife one time and called her all out of her name. Let me tell you, it never happened again. Never happened again. She tried to cook for me. I ain't finna eat your food. I ain't got you calling you all kinds of stuff. I ain't finna eat nothing you finna give me. I'm not doing that. And I slept on the couch that night. I'm not sleeping next to you either.
She made you a special pie.
Man, listen. I don't trust women like that. I know I was wrong in doing all that hollering and screaming. And then you come talking about, hey, baby, your plate ready? Man, if you don't throw that stuff in the garbage, I'm going to McDonald's. I'm not finna eat.
Mario, you got a question, man, and something to bring?
I have a short story that a question is attached to the end of, and you might have said this while I was checking on my chicken over there. But
go ahead, though. I'm gonna leave that alone. Go ahead, Mario.
Okay. So my daughter, who's now 26, when she was a junior in college, she was involved. She was in a relationship with a guy, and she happened to bring him first time to meet the family at a reunion, unannounced, broadly. I had never met him, none of us. So you have me there, my brother there, my father there, and a host of cousins, and all of this. So we were kind of tough on the guy. Me, my dad. Now, my brother is certified on crazy, Desert Storm crazy.
Facts.
Got paperwork on it. So we sat him in a chair. I'm on one side, my father's on one side. I'm on one side, my father, and my brother's on the other side, licking the boy in the ear. And I'm serious. We telling him, hey, we don't know you, but if you put your hands on my daughter, I'm gonna do to you whatever you did to her. And I guess he thought we were playing. So about 2 months later, my ex-wife called me. I was at work. It's probably 6 o'clock in the evening. I get a call and he said, such and such put his hands on Kayla. He hit her. I'm like, what? Now, apparently he thought we were playing. Before I could leave work, because I left work early, my brother called me. Hey, I heard the news. We rolling? Yeah, we rolling. Stop by basketball practice. My son called me. Dad, come get me from practice. So me, my son, and my brother all rode down to Montgomery. And all the way down, my son said I was quiet all the way down. He was telling me about it yesterday. But I was thinking in my head what I was going to do. In my mind, I'm going to flat all 4 his tires. I had my knife, and I just kept clicking my knife all the way down for this hour and a half ride. I'm going to flat all 4 his tires. I'm going to kick his rearview mirrors out. I'm going to make sure he cannot leave. But I have a point to prove. I told him, don't touch my daughter. Anyway, long story short, my ex-wife calls this boy's mother. She told him to get out of Dodge before we got there. He was nowhere to be found because I went by my daughter's apartment, picked her up. She showed me where he lived. And I said, well, okay, he's not here. Good for him. Go in and get everything that you have that's in his apartment and bring it out. Let's get it. She went in, got all of her stuff. We took it back to her apartment. And I told her, I said, I didn't raise you to be hit on. You never saw me put hands on your mom. You know I'm not that kind of guy. I had heard that they had a tumultuous relationship. They were always back and forth with each other. And I knew at some point it may have gotten to this. I said, but look, I'm going to tell you this. I came down to get you out of this. His mother happened to call while we were there. Talked to her. I said, hey, ma'am, your son stays away from my daughter from this point forward. End of story. I'm going to come back down and see him. Got off the phone with her. I told my daughter, I said, now, I came down and got you out of this. If you get yourself back into this, and I hated to say it, but I had to make a point. You on your own. I'm not going to let you put me, you, and your brother in harm's way.
That's
Right.
But I wanted you to understand that I would ride for you if push came to shove. You know, needless to say, that relationship was left completely alone. They never talked again. He tried. She left him alone. My question to you, Sister Zenobia, if you had, in the state of mind you were in during that time, would a strong male figure have made a difference in your situation? Or were you just in a place that you had to go through that?
I believe it would have made a difference.
Okay.
I believe it would have made a difference. But I didn't have that because, like I say, for a while, my parents didn't even know I was in a domestic violence relationship.
Okay.
Because I made up so many lies and so many excuses about black eyes and not being able to come around and things of that nature. But I'm sure it would have made a difference because I just wanted to be loved. And that may sound crazy because he was hitting me. You don't equate that with love, but he wasn't always hitting me.
Right.
So, you know, I felt things would get better. But they did for a while, and then he went back to doing the same thing. But it's important that as fathers, you affirm your daughters.
Yes.
I tell my husband that all the time. It's important that you affirm our 13-year-old because that way he can't just tell her he gonna take her and buy her a Happy Meal and then she gives him something she can never get back.
Amen.
Right.
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 You gotta affirm her. You gotta know that no daughter wants to just hear when it's negative, when she's not doing good, or when you want her to do this and you want her to do that. Daughters need to be affirmed at all times. They need to know their worth. They need to know how their father sees them. They need to know that I'm gonna ride with you, 10 toes down. I'm riding with you,
Right.
and you always have me. You don't have to settle.
Right.
Right.
You don't have to settle. You are beautiful.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They need to hear
I made
that
it a
from
point.
dad.
They need to hear it from a father.
Right.
Because I did not hear that. I never heard that from my father.
Wow.
And he was not that father that supported. My dad, and watch this, my dad was a great provider. He made sure that we had clothes, we had shoes, we had lights, we had gas, we had water, we had a place to stay, but that was it. There was no emotional support. There were no hugs. There were no kisses on the forehead from dad. There were no daddy-daughter dances. There were no daddy-daughter dates. There was no daddy showing up in your daughter's salutatorian at the school, getting all kind of awards and excelling. There was none of that.
Wow.
So my life was void of that thing. Do I know my father loved me? Did I know that he loved me? Yeah, I did. Because he's my dad. I mean, your dad loves you, But I'll never forget this one thing. And I think it really sent me somewhere that it took me a long time to come back from. I love music. I love to sing and things of that nature. And so I got a tape recorder one year for Christmas. And my dad used to drink, and he was so funny, and I recorded him, and he told me this, y'all, and y'all just go with me. I recorded him. I played it back, and he said, "I'm gonna call the police on you because you stole my words." Do you know what that did to me? Because I'm a smart little girl, and I knew that the police come get people who do bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so from that point on, I'm like, you're supposed to protect me, but you gonna call the police on me?
Wow.
So now I'm looking for everything that I needed from him and some little knucklehead
Right.
who didn't know who he was, his daddy wasn't there, or whatever. And so it's important that we are careful about what it is that we say, because words have the ability to build up or to tear down, to make us soar or to make us sink. Words are powerful. Absolutely. And we need that. Even now, today, I'm 49 years old. I still find myself sometimes needing my father, who is long gone.
You know what's funny?
And I wish I had some words to fall back on that he said to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Go
ahead, Tony, right quick.
Well, to that end, Zenobia, one of the things that's important to me before my daughters walk out of the house going to school, I always remind them, what's your last name? And when they come up and there's something very challenging, and they get that little timid thing of, wait, what's your last name?
Right.
What's your last name? And I do that so they will understand, because you identify by the authority of your father's father's voice.
That's good.
You can do anything.
That's so
when you
good.
go outside this house, you carry my last name.
That's so good.
And there is absolutely nothing you can't do. And so I pound my daughter up on awards day because she got this very prestige award that's only given to one person in the school.
Wow.
And Ariel, my baby, got it. So I jumped up. I didn't care who saw me. I didn't care what they were videotaping. You need to understand that your dad is gonna cheer you on. Mama
That's-
there, but
that's
your
it.
daddy got you on here. So
Right.
she did not want to let her award go because daddy was proud of her. When they putting on clothes, Steve, Mario, James, Terry, Zenobia, when they putting on clothes, they want their father to approve
Wow.
of them.
That's powerful.
That's-
That's
So
so
when they leave
good.
out my house, I say, hey, do your best. And I look them in the face, do your best. And everything that you do.
That's so
Come to
good.
me half stepping because of what's your last name. And if
Right.
your daddy don't quit, you don't quit. And I work my tail off. I love you and all that. But and to that end, Mario, I'm not sure if I really want to be that saved where if a joker put his hands on my daughter.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You can call me Pastor Lovejoy all you want to, but you put your hands on some that came. I'm not sure if I really. I'm gonna be on the news. Pastor goes to jail. And y'all gonna hear
Yes,
some
sir.
pop, pop, pop,
I'm with
pop.
you.
Yeah,
I'm with
that's
you.
what y'all gonna hear. Pastor Lovejoy. I'm telling you,
And that's
that.
what and that's what it's gonna say. It ain't gonna say your name. It's gonna
Just say
say
Pastor. That's right. Y'all gonna see my picture like this in the newspaper.
right. And they're gonna pull a picture of you in the pulpit off your Facebook page.
That's what they're gonna do.
Hey. But watch this. That's going to show them the love of a father.
Yes.
Mhm.
It's nothing like it.
Yeah.
And
There
Nothing like
is
it.
nothing like the love of a father.
it sets a standard because from that point on, everyone, my daughter, the couple of guys that she's dated after that, she always tell them, don't hit me.
Don't hit
Because
me.
my daddy will come to see you. And
That's
so
right.
from that point on, she makes sure she. And when I meet the young man, I told him, I said, I'll come see you if you touch my daughter. They said she already told. She said you don't have to worry about it. I said, okay, as long as you know. I said,
That's
no
right.
games. My question to you, Terry, was this: How would a strong male figure would that have made a difference in your situation, or did it make a difference in your situation as it pertained to? You have an example?
I think it would. I know it would have, because it would have given me a different perspective. Yeah.
I mean, in terms of it being a deterrent from what you did. You understand what I'm saying? Did you think? Would you have thought twice if there had been a strong male figure in a girl situation, or if you had known?
Oh yeah, definitely. If I had a strong male figure in my life, that it definitely would have deterred me from that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Because it helps. I mean, it really helps.
I want to give James Fred some time real quick, guys. We're going to be wrapping it up here soon, but it says black women are 2.5 times more likely to be murdered by men than white women. In overwhelming cases, there are 92% of the person who killed of women, the black women that have died. 92% of them knew the person that killed them. 56% of these homicides were committed by a current or former intimate partner. Nearly 92% of the killings of a black woman being killed in a domestic violence situation was by another black man. And so I said that to set this up because I want James to go ahead and tell his situation, how he's dealing with the situation, that which brought about this show. James, the floor is yours, sir.
All right. So a couple of weeks ago, my ex-wife was murdered by her current husband. The guy, her husband, they had been together for a while, and to show you how this stuff, how a lot of times when it comes to domestic violence, we want to make sure women watch the signs and they pay attention, but sometimes the signs are subtle and then it escalates quickly. So with this guy, everybody around them knew it was something about him that just wasn't right. He was very jealous. When I would go to Georgia and visit my kids, I'm not coming to see her, I'm coming to see my kids. And the crazy part about it is that like when I went to see my daughter for her prom, my daughter was living with her grandmother. So she wasn't even living with her mother. And so I came to Georgia to see my daughter. And later on, my ex tells me that he's tripping on her, talking about I came to Georgia to see her.
Mm.
And I'm like, okay, what I mean, and he was a very jealous guy. I think this was last month or maybe 2 months ago. No, excuse me. This was back in January. She called me and told me that this was the first time he actually beat her up. He throughout the whole years they had been together, he never touched her. It was always just some jealousy type things of that nature. Well, back in January, he actually physically beat her up that time. Now here's what's crazy. Okay, I get this call in January. You know, he beat me up. This is it. I'm leaving him. I'm done. Literally a month later, and I'm not joking, I see pictures on Facebook. He proposed to me.
Mm.
2 weeks after that, they were married. This was back in February. Almost 3 months later, he murders her. And when I tell you it happened fast. Like nobody knew that it was going to get to that level that fast. Mm-hmm. And the crazy part about it is that I knew she was going through. I knew she was depressed. I knew there were things that she wasn't saying. She started drinking a lot more. When we went to clean out her house, of course he's in jail. When we went to clean out her house, she just had liquor bottles just stashed everywhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, in the closet, under the bed, under the pillow. She was really going through it. Right. But the thing is, you know, we couldn't help her. There was nothing anybody could say. And it got to this point. And so I had to go in this house. You know, my son came, he lives in Atlanta. He's 22. My daughter's 20. You know, my son came down from Atlanta. He's telling me, you know, Dad, I shouldn't have never left. I should have been here. Mm. And I'm telling her, you know, son, you know, nobody knew this. Nobody, you know, we can't predict this type of stuff. Mm. I'm going through this with my 20-year-old daughter. We're having to go through. Steve, do you see that picture?
Yep.
That I'm sharing? Put that picture up. This is what my daughter had to walk into.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I had to walk through this house with my daughter to clean this up. And to get her mother's and to go through her mother's possessions. She's 20 years old. Oh my God. And it was the hardest thing in the world for me. Because at 20 years old, she had to endure that. And when I tell you, though, Lovejoy, when you talk about telling your daughters what their last name is, this little Fred girl at 20 years old handles this like a champion. She's had her moments where she's broken down, but she had to, and she wanted to do it. She did not want me to interfere in that. She had to do it. She made the funeral arrangements, the cremation arrangements. I mean, man, I'm telling you, it was rough. And it was seeing this, y'all. I had to step up and do something. Because it made me wonder how many women are suffering in silence like that.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And it's not always so wide open. It's not always the woman getting beat up every day and showing up with black eyes, and none of that was happening. He physically abused her one time. And then right after that, like Zenobi said, only thing she could do was remember the good times they had. So it was, well, maybe he'll change. Because that's what she told my son. My son showed me the text messages where she was saying Well, he just did it that one time, but he's better. He's a good guy. And listen, to go so far with the justification, tried to tell my son that I hit her once before. And said, well, your daddy turned out good, so why can't he? And I never touched this lady, ever. Ever. This was the same woman who I hollered at, and I got a pistol pulled on me. You see what I'm saying? Right. So, no. But to justify it that much, that's what she told me. She wanted him to change. And this is what she got. So this is what I'm on now, because domestic violence is something we don't talk about enough.
That's right.
It's something that is out of sight, out of mind type of deal. You know what I'm saying? Unless it happens to us or somebody close, we don't really pay no attention.
That's right.
And just thinking about, let me tell you what really got me was I kept thinking, the times that I talked to her, what didn't I see? And even as her ex-husband, listen, I've been married again and divorced, got a girlfriend now, and still was thinking, what should I have done to get her out of that?
My.
What did not do to get her out of that?
You can do.
Because I'm watching my children go through this. My 20-year-old daughter, who's trying to live a life of her own, had to deal with this. She had to call me and tell me that her mother had been killed. Let me tell you something. It changed my whole outlook on a lot of this stuff. This is where people like Kevin Samuels, who will say things to women that they shouldn't pay attention to what their husband is doing to keep from breaking up a family. That's the kind of bull crap that I ain't putting up with.
Right.
And these dudes that love to listen to him, see, some of these cats, they little weak-minded men who want to throw a temper tantrum when things don't go their way.
Come on.
So when a woman has a voice or an opinion, now they want to cut up. And they want to listen to people like Kevin Samuels tell them it's okay. And then put the blame back on the woman and tell her she just needs to sit down and keep the family together. Which is exactly what my ex-wife was trying to do. Keep her little piece of family together. And the remnants of that is on that couch that you just saw. That her 20-year-old daughter had to go
clean up
and deal with.
So James, what is your message? That was real. Seeing.
And that's why I wanted it shown. I wanted to make it real. Yeah. I wanted this just not be a story. This is real.
Yes,
this is real deal. Okay, and I need women to understand. My ex didn't make it out of that. She didn't make it. Thank God, Zenobia, you was able to get out of your situation.
Amen.
Thank God, amen.
Thank God Terry was able to stop.
Man, Terry, bro, like I say, I commend you, dude. Like 100% for real. You recognized it and fixed it. You recognized it and fixed it. And I need women to understand that, again, this wasn't abuse over years. The verbal abuse was happening. They kept it quiet. Nobody really knew. The physical abuse only happened once. And then right from that, it went to this.
Yeah.
So you got to get out when you see it. You got to get out when listen. I'm not telling women, man, to live in fear of who you with, but you got to keep your antennas up. when that Negro go to doing crazy, strange stuff, put it in your mental capacity so you can go back to it when it happened again. Then you can make the decision to say, okay, let me kill this now before it even go further. Before it goes left, let me get out now.
Yeah.
So, but let me speak to something, and Zenobia, you can confirm this if this is true. It's not just that easy to just make a decision to walk out, because not only is there physical abuse, there's also a psychological abuse that comes with that, the manipulation of that, and they are so into
the manipulators.
They are blinded as to which way to turn to even get out of a situation. And to that end, Zenobia, I just want to commend you for the ministry that you have for those women, and watch this, men that are in situations where they are blinded by the abuse. Because normally the person comes back and they're very apologetic. They're not going to do it again. They'll cry and all those things. And so, and James, I really appreciate what you just did, man. That just made all of this real. And so I'm not sure, Steve, James, what we're doing as far as speaking to. Do we have numbers, hotlines where people can call and talk? Because it's really not just that easy to get out. There had to be a word spoken to Zenobia and this dude was already locked up. And Zenobia was still taking this call and letters and things like that. It wasn't until the word of the Lord came that Zenobia made a decision. You better go ahead and exit. Here's your exit. Make it plain. But for a lot of people, they are suffocating.
Yes.
In silence.
Right.
And especially during this pandemic. And it really did something to me and really made me, really hone in and pray for and just watch. Because here's the thing, people may not say it, but if you watch people, if you pay attention on Facebook, because that's all we really have right now. But when people post and they post these, you got to notice the difference in their mindset and what it is that they're saying and reach out to them. And I tell people all the time, the last thing you tell someone that's in that type of relationship is to just leave, because just leaving can very well cost them their lives. I lost a classmate to domestic violence the year before last. They were divorced, had been divorced for almost a year. He was coming through the window and the children saw him and ran to the neighbor's house and was hollering for the mama to get out. And as she was trying to run out, he shot her in the back of the head. Wow. She was home minding her business. They're divorced, but sometimes they don't know, the abuser doesn't know how to let go. And even when you have made it out of the situation, you still need to put something in place that keeps this person away from you.
That's good. Good news. Good work.
You need to do something to keep this person away from you. And as for escaping, God will always give us that way of escape. Here's the thing. You can't just up today and say, I'm leaving because somebody told you to leave. Where are you going? What are you going to do? And so I encourage women. The person I spoke with on Clubhouse, she was in a domestic violence situation. I said, sweetie, today, while he's gone, take you some things, put it in your car, take it to someone's house he doesn't know where you're going to be, where he can't find you. You got to gradually start moving things. You got to gradually start moving money around. You got to gradually start doing things so that when you do leave, you have something to help you survive. Or in some instances, you do have them where they just up and leave. But we have things in place where we can put you where they can't find you. So if you can find a way to get out because they're gone and you can go somewhere where he can't find you, do that and reach out for help because help is available. I didn't know about all the things that's available. I did not know. I did not know, but it's so much help available. There's so many places that you can go where they won't be able to find you. But don't stay in it out of fear because you don't know how you're going to make it. You don't know where you're going to eat. You don't know how your bills are going to get paid. It'll work out. It will work out. But if you can get out, get out.
That's excellent, because I was going to ask you what would be just because you're saying just telling people to leave is not necessarily the answer. You have to make a plan to leave, and you did that, and I appreciate that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are in an abusive relationship, there are places that you can go. First of all, let me tell you this: get over the stigma of being in that relationship, because that's the first hurdle, I believe, that some of you have to deal with, that to admit to yourself you are in a relationship, and then that there are people that are going to be willing to help you get out of that relationship, get out of the embarrassment of saying, "No, I'm stuck because I don't want people to know." Baby, let me tell you, there are more people for you than against you. There are more people with you and willing to help you pull you out of that situation. Men, if you're out there, you're abusing your woman, I'm telling you, there's places, there are other brothers that are willing to say, "Hey man, come on, dude, believe me, there's somebody willing to help you out of that situation."
That's right.
I do want to give a couple phone numbers. The National Domestic Violence Hotline is 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799 and the word SAFE, which is 7233. You can call them. If you live here in Birmingham, Alabama, you can call No More Violence. With Cheryl Featherstone is her name now. I keep want to go back to McCorder because that's how we met. But her name is Miss Featherstone, and you can call that number, which is 205-240-4846. Once again, that's 205, and I'll put it down here when I type it up, guys. 240-4846. Those are some places you can call if you're in a situation right now where you're the abuser or the abusee. There is freedom out there, and we don't want you to end up in a position to where you can't walk away from it.
That's right.
Right. Definitely.
Go ahead.
Hey, Terry, and I'm not sure if God has spoken this to your heart. I think there needs to be maybe an organization that you start where men can come and talk through their issues in a safe environment.
Yes.
Because you have walked that particular journey. And so there will be a heart of compassion for men who are angry. And you can also help some young guys who are growing up angry to have a place to release their anger and talk to people. You may want to consider, and I'm not sure if God has spoken to your heart about that, but you may want to consider that, because I think you can do a world of good.
Yes.
Especially for a man that has walked through that. And Revelations 12 said this: so we overcome by the blood of the Lamb, and what we testify to.
That's right.
So I think, man, I'm not sure if you ever thought about that. I'm not trying to throw anything else on your plate, but I think because you walked through that, I think you can actually create an outlet for people so they can talk.
Definitely look into it. Definitely.
And that's good, Pastor Lovejoy, because I was sitting here thinking that I was going to ask him about that. Because here's the thing. A lot of men have abandonment issues. They have rejection issues. They have that spirit of the orphan because their parents have abandoned them. The father is not there. And so they're dealing with all of this. No excuse, but the truth.
Right.
And we don't know how to deal with things. So we handle them the best way we know how to handle them. And that's pointing the blame and making excuses and making the person feel like they made you do it. I heard that so many times. I dreamed about those words. I could be up moving around and I'll hear, "You made me do this. You made me do that." And so I believe that it is imperative that they too have a place, just like those who are victims of domestic violence, have someone that they can come and talk to. Those men need, but men are not so apt to state that they are the abuser, or that they are dealing with rejection issues, that they are dealing with anger issues, or what have you. But it's well needed. And James, my heart goes out to um, whew, your kids. My heart goes out to your kids and to you, because you're feeling the brunt of it as well. Because here's the thing: you may be an ex-wife, but she was a part of you.
Amen.
Absolutely.
You had history together, and so it's my heart goes out to you all. I'm praying for you. How fresh is it? Did that happen this year?
This was a couple weeks ago.
My heart goes out to you all, and especially to your kids and your daughter for her psychological part of her mental state of walking in and finding that. What's her name? I'll be lifting your daughter up.
Jasmine.
Jasmine.
Uh-huh.
I'll definitely. And what's your son's name?
James.
James. I'll definitely be lifting him up in prayer.
All right.
And can I say this? Sometimes I question God. You know, all these other people lost their lives, but you saw fit to keep me here. And I know now why. I now know why. Because of my testimony, because others can heal, others can come out of that. He didn't have to let me live, but he did. And so I tell my story. And I used to be ashamed, y'all. I'm not gonna lie. I used to be ashamed. I used to be embarrassed because people look at me now and they be like, "No, Zenobia, not you. You're this. You're too strong. You're this. You're that." But I hadn't always been like that because I've not always known my worth. I've not always known my value. And so I just want to speak to a young girl or a woman who do not know their worth and know their value. Get in the word of God. That's how I found out who Zenobia was. Because my dad was not that person. And then when he did tell me he loved me, he died. And that left me with a whole lot of other questions, still not being affirmed. And so I had to get in the word of God and find out who it is. That the one who will love me through my good, through my bad, through the ugly, what he saw about me, what he thought about me, how he sees me. That's how I made it out. That's how I go now and tell my story and help others because of what God did for Zenobia.
Man.
What he did for Zenobia, how he affirmed me and told me that I was the apple of his eye. I was his beloved. That he thought I was to die for. He died. His son died for me. Messed up Zenobia. He's no respecter of persons. If he brought me out, he'll bring you out as well.
Excellent.
He'll bring you out as well. So if you are in that situation, don't stay in that situation. Reach out for help. We are here. We are available to help you and to assist you in any way, shape, form, or fashion that we can. You are worth saving. You are worth more than what you're settling for. You don't have to settle because we don't serve a God that causes us to settle. We serve a big God who has everything that you need. So if you are there, silence hides violence. If you see something, say something, speak out, because the life that you save may very well be your own.
Zenobia, can you just let us know how people can get in contact with you and the Way of Escape Ministries? And I
have the email, Way of Escape Ministry, Way of Escape Women's Ministry 2019 at gmail.com. I also have a website, Way of Escape Women's Ministry.com. And I am on Facebook under my name, Zenobia Banks Nickerson. I have not yet set up a social media page for the women's ministry. But those are ways that you are able to reach me. Facebook, Zenobia Banks Nickerson, and email Way of Escape Women's Ministry 2019 @gmail.com.
Awesome.
So Zenobia, I don't know what in whatever ways that we can help. I need you to let us know.
Definitely.
With your ministry. Whatever you need media wise, I got you.
Right.
Whether it's videos, interviews, whatever you need. But I think we got to talk about this a lot more in the Black community. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Definitely. It can't just be once a month, because domestic violence, as Cheryl says all the time, it doesn't take a break. It's 365 days a year, 24 hours, 7 days a week.
Right.
It does not stop. And we don't know. A person can just be having a bad day and they'll snap.
Mm-hmm.
One of my trainees just called me last week about that. Just up out the blue. He just jumped on me.
Wow.
And so we don't know. And sometimes there are signs and other times they're not.
Right.
I think shows like this, guys, as we expose it, we need to bring light to it more and more in our community. Mr. Terry,
Yes,
can you just give a quick synopsis and give us a quick speak to maybe there's abuser watching, maybe there's somebody that is abusing their family and their wife and their children. Can you speak to them right quick, and then we're going to go through your website and your publishing. All right, go.
Yes, sir. Definitely. If you are an abuser, know that that's someone's life. Think about if it was your child or if it was you. It's just no place for it. I mean, when I look back and I saw what I was doing and how I was acting, I was ashamed. And for a while, I wouldn't even speak about it. But know that God loves you in spite of, and He wants you to change. No matter what you've been through, no matter what you've done, no matter what you've experienced in life, know that God genuinely loves you and wants the best for you.
Yes.
So that best can shine through you.
Right.
I urge you to get help. Get help. Because it won't just help you, it'll help those around you as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
So, Terry, talk to us about your books right quick, and then talk to us about your publishing, on what you're doing with the Boss Publishing. Go for it. Okay,
my books have my first book was a poetry book called Lost Recipe. My second book was a motivational book called Motivational High, Inspirational Growth. My third book was a prayer book. I do a lot of prayers on Facebook every day. So I just went back and kind of combined those in a book that people can carry around. For those that don't know how to pray, it's not a foundation. It's just a little piece of help that will help you pray each and every day. I have a book project called Poetic Expressions, which focuses on mental health through poetry. We released the third volume on this year, and it's available on Amazon. If you type in my name, Terry L. Ware Sr., all of my books will pull up. But for that particular book, it focuses on mental health. It's very dear to me because I lost my brother due to mental health while he took his own life back in 2006. And all proceeds go to Nominee of Alabama, which is a mental health foundation. And right now we're helping people self-publish books. I'm a believer. I love being an entrepreneur. I wish everybody could be an entrepreneur. This is just my token to give back. We're helping people self-publish. It doesn't cost much to self-publish, and you get 100% of your royalties. So that's what we help people do now.
Awesome. Matt, this has been a great show, guys. This has been a great show. It's been very informative. Lovejoy, parting thoughts, sir.
Parting thought. There was an interesting thing about culture. In the Jewish culture, a father will actually take the son when it's time for him to accept a woman into his life. He would take the son and they would go actually build a suite on the backside of the house. This is what the son would go tell the wife. I go to prepare a place for you. I will come again, and I will receive you unto myself, so that where I am, you may be also. Interesting enough, we heard that when Jesus leaves. Here's what I'm suggesting. I'm suggesting if the Father voice is important in a son's life, it is imperative that us as fathers, not only with our blood kids, but those that are coming for us to speak into their lives, so we can alleviate the problems that we have with the anger that's inside of our sons, not just our sons, but our daughters. I think if we speak to this particular issue, I think we can eradicate it, but it's only, James Fred, when we get involved. Those are my parting thoughts.
Thanks, Fred.
Listen, I need women to, if you're in trouble, if you're in these situations, man, try to call. I mean, try to get in contact. I mean, we're here. Zenobia, you have her information. We gotta get you some help. That advice about planning and taking stuff somewhere a little bit at a time, man, that's some real good advice right there. That's wonderful. But like I said, I don't want it to be another situation like my ex-wife. I don't want to see on the news it came to that. When it's something, I don't want children wondering what they could have done. Like I say, my son is telling me that he shouldn't have never moved away. He should have stayed there. He could have stopped it. I mean, we don't want to see that. So I need y'all to get help. Fellas, if you're an abuser, man, please get help. You ruining families out here. You killing families. It ain't about just the person you abusing. You killing families out here. You ruining lives and
futures.
Right. So get the help that you need. Please get the help that you need. If not, you run the risk of putting your own life in danger, because you're gonna come across some real fathers and some real men who ain't gonna put up with it.
Like Mario.
Like right. Fool around and have Dupree on a motorcycle rolling, 200 miles an hour somewhere. You run that risk, man. So just, fellas, get the help that you need, please.
All right, Mario.
What James and what Lovejoy said is sufficient, man. I concur with both of them. And I'll leave it there. Great job, guys.
Yeah. Great show, guys. Once again, we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight, talking about domestic violence, man. I'm a firm believer, man, that we've talked about before. If you put that seed in your child and fulfill that need of being a father, and to the guys that are watching and to the women that are watching, if you feel them with yourself and give them the essence that they can grow up and not have that empty circle in their life, a lot of this can be avoided. Amen. Zenobia, thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you.
Terry, we salute you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Pike Road, Alabama.
Pike Road, Alabama.
Pike Road, Alabama, y'all.
Where they just built the Publix.
Right.
Terry, we need to connect. I was thinking about doing a symposium back in 2017 with my last abuser, which is my 21-year-old son's father. In the morning, I sent him a text and asked him to call me. I got a call a couple of hours later that he was dead.
Jesus.
Wow.
Because I wanted him to speak as a reformed abuser. So I will definitely reach out to you to talk with you about that for us maybe having a symposium.
Definitely.
Okay. Well, guys, hang on. Don't go nowhere, because we always have an after show. So, and I know some of our people are like, man, we want to see the after show.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No,
Man, well, the after show was lit. The after show was lit. I'm just letting y'all know. Y'all really missed it with the after show. But once again, we want to thank you guys for watching the Four Black Guys show. We want you to hit like, we want you to share, we want you to smash y'all with the subscribe button, and then do one of these on the notification bell. So then you know when we coming on. You know what I'm saying? When them snap just like that, right on the notification.
Bro, you so old.
So old.
My God, you so old.
Your face is old. Anyway, guys, put your fours up, please.
Hey man, we didn't put the fours up at the beginning of the show, did we?
No, we didn't. That's why we're doing it now. Oh, where's that four coming from?
Wait.
Don't worry about that.
A disembodied hand, a disembodied four.
Wait just a moment.
That was Jesse James. All right.
There you go.
There we
All right,
go.
come on, hold on. We got special. Come on, Lovejoy. Let's do your special.
Yeah,
Ready?
Come on.
You gotta fade to black on. Come on now.
Yeah, you ready to fade to black?
I'm ready.
Right,
Wait a minute. All right, go ahead.
Yeah.